Hey guys, it's Joseph again here with my dad.
All right, buddy. Got a guy that was a tight end.
Yep.
Played from 1985 to 1988.
Yep.
All-American his senior year. Let everybody know who he is.
He was Mr. Troy Sadowski out of Chamblee, Georgia.
Yep, so playing out of Chamblee, Georgia at that time. Pretty tall guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Those tight ends, man, they're not small at all, are they?
No.
Nope. So we brought out the Brock helmet again because both All-Americans, both great tight ends, both Georgia legends. So we'll just get into this episode because he answers some cool stuff about Brock, and you had some really good questions for him, and we appreciate him taking the time to do that, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, let them know in the comments below. Just put in your favorite tight end in all time at Georgia. You know, whoever you think is the best of all time, and then we'll see him on the next episode, right?
Yep. Go Dawg.
Go Dawg.
Complete pass down around the 20 each time and had to get a 47-yard field goal and then a 50-yard attempt that went wide. Complete to Sadowski. Nice grab on that play and out of bounds inside the 35. A gain of 16 and the catch by senior Troy Sadowski.
Hi, my name's Joseph and I'm here with Mr. Troy Sadowski. He is from Chamblee, Georgia. He is UGA legend and tight end, played at UGA from 1985 to 1988, was a All-American in 1988, 1989 NFL draft pick for the Atlanta Falcons.
I would use legend lightly, especially after Brock Bowers.
My first question is, why did you pick UGA?
That's a great question. You know, because being recruited, I was being recruited by people all over the country, but it was very, very important for me to stay close to home. At that time, my mother had breast cancer, and it was very important that I stay close to home and also to play early in my career at Georgia so she could see me play. So that was one of the biggest things. Plus, my mother was a graduate of the University of Georgia, so that was a big reason to be able to go and play at a place like Georgia where my mom went to school, and for the opportunity for her to see me play and be close like that, that was very important to me.
Mm-hmm. What was it like playing for Vince Dooley?
What is it like playing for Vince Dooley? Talk about legends. He was a phenomenal coach. One of the things that Coach Dooley always did was he had an open door policy. At any time, any player, if we needed to go talk to him, he was always willing to stop what he was doing, have us come in the room and sit down and talk. And it was routine with him for players to go and talk with him. I mean, he always wanted to know. He wasn't just a coach; he was a friend also, and he took active participation in working with these young men, turning them into men. So he always had that open door policy, and have always thought of him as one of my best friends.
What was your most memorable play at UGA?
My most memorable play, oh wow. I would probably say catching a touchdown. It didn't matter, you know, what touchdown it was, but you know, being able to celebrate with 82,000 fans the moment after you catch a touchdown was very special for me because we didn't throw the ball a lot. It was a different era of football. It was post Herschel Walker, where Georgia ran the ball. They ran the ball, and we had great running backs. I mean, we had Lars Tate, Rodney Hampton, Keith Henderson, Tim Worley. So we had great running backs, and when you have a full corral of running backs like that, you're going to run the football, and that's what we did. And as tight ends, we were blockers first, and we were pass receivers second. So we knew what our role was, and we played within that role. And I think that was one of the things that people noticed, that that myself and Kurt Warner, that we played within what they were asking us to do on the offense. And blocking was number one, and we did that. And I feel that we did that very well. And that's why, we ran the football. I mean, it was run first, run second, run third, maybe a pass here and there, but we were okay with that. And somebody recognized, because I became an All-American, so somebody recognized that my special teams and my blocking ability on offense were a big part of the team. So I'm really proud of that. To only have caught 42 passes for 493 yards and 4 touchdowns in 4-year career. There were other players. Brock Bowers, he did that in the first half of the season, for crying out loud.
One-man split left, nobody in motion this time. Wayne Johnson going to come back to the left and look, and go back to a man open. Touchdown, Sadowski on the right. He looked left where he had a couple of receivers and just kept looking and running that way and turning through, and Sadowski was a block open.
You can't tell, Mr. Troy. It's obvious in the film that we watched when we were leading up to coming and seeing him, that in the tape we watched, even the broadcasters were saying that the reason Georgia was successful with their running backs was because of the blocking you guys were doing. And a lot of that was you coming around, and
that was the biggest thing. And one of our biggest plays and most successful plays was the tall sweep.
Yeah.
And the person that is the most important on. Everybody's important on offense, but especially the tight end, to get that corner sealed so the running back can get around there. And that was one of the things that was special for me. I got more pleasure out of watching the running backs run by me on a toss sweep, and I'm watching them run for a touchdown. And Tim Worley and I keep in touch, and I mentioned that last time. There was a couple plays that were down at the Florida game, and I said there was nothing better to see Worley, 38, running down the field.
Against the 5-man front, and they're going to pitch it to Worley. He comes down 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Worley's running 35, 30, 25, 20. Worley touchdown.
Sadowski, a great blocker and a clutch receiver.
Watch number 87 against George Malone. Georgia Tech is afraid of this lockup, and Sadowski is locked onto him, now driving him back off the ball. And that's one reason that these Georgia backs have run for so many yards. Great blocking by the tight end.
Well, that's what Coach Kirby and all them talk about today, Joseph, is playing your role on the team. And that's what makes you successful.
We knew our role, and we played with it. We didn't try to do something that we weren't. We played within that role, and that's what we were asked to do.
Who was your toughest opponent?
Wow, I'd say our toughest opponent was Auburn. There was a lot of times that it came down to the Georgia-Auburn game. That's who was going to win the conference and get a chance to go to the Sugar Bowl. So I would have to say Auburn. And they had some really, really, really good players that were over there. David Rocker, defensive end. He was always active. And then Andre Bruce, who ended up playing for the Falcons in the NFL. He was another guy that played there. And
did you play with him at the Falcons?
I did, and that was one of the things that he had on me was they beat us more than we beat them. So bragging rights, I didn't have the bragging rights.
Who was the hardest player to block?
The hardest player to block. I know this is going to sound funny, but it was a teammate. And there was an outside linebacker. He wore number 39, and his name was Andy Loy. Andy Loy played a big role in when they beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl.
For the Georgia defense.
For the outside, you're right, Andy Loy, he was right in McIver's face before he had an opportunity. It was a play-action fakes. He didn't really get an opportunity to see or try to avoid Loy because he made the big play and the big sack, put him in a second in a very long situation.
Andy Loy had this ability where he could hit you and he could feel which way you were leaning. And he had this uncanny ability to just move his body a certain way and it would deflect you off. So every time, I think that the time that I was there, that every single time I may have beat him in Oklahoma drill, maybe once, possibly twice, but most of the time he was always unblockable.
He sounds like Ray Lewis before Ray Lewis.
Yeah, exactly. But no, Andy was a great player, and I saw some pictures of him the other day. He went to a university function, and he still looks like he could play.
Who is your favorite UGA player of all time?
My favorite UGA player of all time. Oh wow, that's wow. So we could go back. Okay.
You can go back or forward.
We're gonna. Okay. Well. Okay. I'm gonna go forward. I would have to say, and it would have to be Brock Bowers. Mm-hmm. I think that Brock Bowers was the greatest of all time to ever play tight end at Georgia. He had the ability that I wish I had had. We've all seen him play games, and the things that he did and the plays that he made are phenomenal. And he's doing that now in the NFL. I mean, he was a rookie All-Pro, and that's unbelievable. And
he's above Travis Kelce in the Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's well, that's not going to make Travis Kelce happy, is it?
No.
But, well, sorry about that, Travis. But no, and I had the opportunity a couple years ago. Robert Miles, who played for the 1980 National Championship team, set up a meeting with me and Brock. And the first time that I met Brock Bowers, and it was kind of funny because, I mean, we were sitting talking like we're talking, and you had to pull conversation out of him because he's very humble. He doesn't boast or talk about himself, but he would talk about the team and everything. But it was kind of like you had to pull conversation out of him. And I told him, I said, what an honor and a pleasure, you know, it has been to watch him play. And I'm even more thrilled now watching him in the NFL. Mm-hmm. The sky's the limit with this kid. And I call him a kid. I mean, he's not a kid, he's a grown man. But yeah, no, he will probably go down as the greatest tight end to ever play the position. And that means a lot because he's a former Dawg.
Mm-hmm. They have Lawson Lucky too, that's pretty good.
Yeah, there's Oscar Delp, Lawson Lucky. There's a lot of players, and that's the thing. You know, people have always said, "Oh, well, Troy, it started with you." No, it didn't. It started before me. I mean, before me, there was a guy by the name of Clarence Kay.
Eisinger coming off to the left side, looking, dumps it over, it's complete to the 35, he broke the tackle. Clarence Kay, 45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, down the sideline, 20, and they shoved him out of bounds on the 22. Clarence Kay broke the tackle and got 30 more yards. Shoved out down around the 22, 22 and a half. Lastinger hit the tight end.
great tight end. Didn't have a bunch of stats, but it had, you know, he was also with the Herschel Walker era of blocking, and he went on to have a lengthy career in the NFL and played with the Denver Broncos and John Elway. I believe he even won a couple Super Bowls. So there's been a long history of good tight ends at the University of Georgia.
Pretty cool to see that history go from, you know, primarily run to, I mean, now the tight end in play is, I mean, another receiver.
Yeah.
You've got to, I mean, they have to block and do the things that you guys did, and now they're pretty well full-on receivers. I mean, he made some incredible catches.
Lawson Lucky pretty much acts like a receiver.
Yeah.
But he's a tight end.
But he's a tight end, huh?
Well, I mean, and that's good. The coaches will notice that, and they get the ball to him. I wouldn't say I was disappointed, but I was a little shocked that the tight ends this past season, their role looked like it was a little bit diminished. I don't know why. I mean, the coaches are the coaches. I'll never second guess that because they're the ones that put the time in, putting the game plan together and everything, and they know what their players can and can't do. So, but when the previous 3 years were Brock Bowers, I mean, for crying out loud, that nobody can follow that.
No, that's a tough one to follow.
Yeah, that's a tough act to follow.
It sure would be.
Would you like to play at UGA in today's style of football?
Absolutely. Man, I mean, it makes you wonder that what could I have done with, you know, a quarterback. I mean, we had James Jackson, Wayne Johnson, and Greg Talley, and they weren't your prototypical drop back quarterback. I mean, there are a lot of them, you know, were good throwing the ball on the move and everything. But when you have the horses that we had in the running back, you're going to feed the ball to them. But you know, yeah, would I have loved to have played with a Stetson Bennett or?
It's crazy how Stetson Bennett was a walk-on and then went to go win 2 national championships.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thunk it? You know, but no, I mean, to being able to do these things, you know, with a Matthew Stafford and Aaron Murray, you know, what could I have put up as far as statistics with quarterbacks like that? You know, we'll never know, but I'm proud of what I accomplished at the University of Georgia. And I don't think that I would change it for anything.
If you can't pick your team at UGA, what team in UGA history would you like to have played for?
Which team? The national championship teams. You know, it was, you know, being able to see a lot of and meet some of the 1980 national championship players.
Herschel, Lindsay,
that was special. But now when you have a back-to-back, and every year now Georgia is in the mix, you know, not only to win the SEC but to win the national championship, and that was one of the things that the coaching staff have put together. And I would have loved to have been a part of that back-to-back thing. I think that would have been really special. But my time was 85 through 88, and we had a great time, and we had some really good football teams and some great players. And I would love to be able to talk with all of them all the time, but sometimes you can't get, because everybody scatters around the country. But where we will always have one common bond, and that is the iconic G.
I would either say the Herschel Walker team or the Todd Gurley team.
Well, when you have a Herschel Walker.
I love Todd Gurley.
Oh, he's a huge Todd Gurley fan.
I have him right above my bed, right beside Herschel Walker.
Great football player. Yeah, great football player. I mean, you can, you know, people say, oh, well, you know, Georgia was tight end U. I looked more, I think it was running back U. There are some great players that have come through the University of Georgia.
There really has been. You look at all the dogs in the NFL, and it's mighty impressive to see the guys that are out there, and you know, they're all over the field. It's not just, you know.
Well, actually, they were calling the Philadelphia Eagles the Philly Dogs.
Yeah.
So, but hey, it worked. They drafted a lot of Georgia players, and they have a Super Bowl.
When I was like 1 or 2, when Todd Gurley got cut from the Rams, I was sitting down on my bed crying that day. And then the next day he got signed to the Atlanta Falcons, and I was having the best day of my life. I watched your film and noticed you had a few different face masks. What made you pick a different face mask style back then?
Well, one of the things that was I was a blocker, and we were taking a lot of, you know, shots to the face, and I used to have more of an open face mask, but people's hands kept getting pumped, and I got poked in the eye, and that's before they had the shield that you can put on for the eyes. So the only thing we do is more of a full face mask, so there wasn't a lot of room for them to get their hands through. And I was okay. I mean, was it the most attractive face mask? No, it wasn't, but it worked for me. And it kept their hands from getting into my face.
I saw one of your face masks had like 6 bars on it.
Yes, it did.
It was big.
Yeah, matter of fact, I've got that helmet at home, and I'm missing some of these bracket that hold the face mask on. So now the face mask is just sitting against it because they dry rotted from just sitting and not being used or whatever. But
was it the one you wore?
It was the one that I wore. It's the one the one that I wore my senior year. I have that, and I have all my jerseys, the bowl jerseys from the bowls that we went to. And my goal is to, when I have a free moment with my life outside of everything, I would like to get my helmet fixed, put in a box in my office, and then my jerseys up on the wall.
Did you play any other sports than football?
I did. I played, of course, the football, baseball, and basketball. My dad and 2 uncles played professional baseball, and that was my first love. It wasn't football, because when I played football when I was younger, it was done by weight. And if you weighed more, you had to play in the next league up, which was with older players. So here I am, all my friends are playing in this league, but I'm having to play here because I'm bigger than they are and I weigh more. So I'm having to play with people that were 2 and 3 years older than me, and they're wearing me out. They're kicking my behind, and I didn't like that. And I was thinking to myself, who in the world would make their kid do this? Because baseball came so natural with me and my dad. That was one of my happy places, was being with my dad, going down to Murphy Candler Park. It doesn't matter what day it is, and we would go, and there'd be a Rubbermaid trash can full of balls, and he would pitch them to me. I'd hit from the right side of the plate, the left side of the plate, and then he would go sit down on the bench and watch me as I ran around with a 5-gallon bucket picking up the baseballs, putting them in the Rubbermaid trash can, and then I'd hit them again. The more time that you put into things, the better you're going to become, and that's something that my dad instilled in me as a young kid was, if you're going to take the time and the effort to do this, you're going to do it right. And that was one of my happy times, was being down there at the baseball field with my dad. A lot of people When I signed my scholarship at Georgia, they said, "Oh, that's fantastic. Well, what position are you going to play?" And I said, "Well, they have an evaluation week beforehand." And they said, "Oh, well, is it going to be outfield or infield?" I'm like, "No, I'm playing football." "You're playing what?" So I chose football, and it was a selfish decision on my part. I was always known as Bob Sadowski's son, and I wanted to make a name for myself, so I chose football instead of baseball. And I remember one time before my dad passed, I asked him, I said, "Dad, did that ever make you angry that I chose football over baseball?" And he said, "Why would it? It's obvious that you chose the right sport." And so that was confirmation that I did the right thing. I've got some pictures that my dad had done and autographed with he and Hank Aaron, and there's one of them that my dad was the Rookie of the Year for the Braves franchise, and the MVP was Hank Aaron, and the Pitcher of the Year was Warren Spahn. So I've got a...
That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the draft for the NFL like for you?
It was a crazy day because I was told that I could go from anywhere from the second, third to sixth round. I was sitting at home. I wasn't expected, to hear anything because I didn't know. That morning I had to go take a test I was still in school. So when I found out was when I got back to my dorm. Coach Dooley was trying to send somebody to let them know, hey, that I got drafted, but I was in class. So everybody make that note. I was in class during the draft.
What was the NFL like?
Well, that's a great question because that's one of the questions that I get a lot. And because when you go from Pop Warner football to high school football to college football to pro football, it's escalated. You're taking a step up because, like in high school, I was the best player on the field. In college, it started out, that I'm working my way up to become one of the best on the field, and then eventually I get to the point, where they name an All-American. So, they were recognizing me as being the best on the field. But in the NFL, everybody's good. They're strong, they're fast, they're quick, they hit hard. They hit hard. Did I say that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they hit hard. I every day, I'm 59 years old, and every day I feel every single hit that I took in the
I hate
NFL.
that.
I've got...
Aren't you glad you didn't get hit by Ray Lewis?
Well, it's funny that you bring that up. I actually hit Ray Lewis. I was able to, when I was playing with the Bengals, we were playing them in the Baltimore Stadium, and I blindsided him. And he got up into my face, and I'm like, okay, what did I just do? But anyway, for the rest of the game, my head was on a swivel. Okay, where's he at? Where's he at? Because he was one of those guys that when he was coming hard, and he was bringing a big bat with him. he was one of the hardest hitting people, along with you remember Levon Kirkland from the Steelers. He played at Clemson, but he was he hit really hard.
What teams did you play for in the NFL?
All right, you ready? I was drafted by the Falcons, 89 and 90, Kansas City Chiefs 91, 92 and 93 with the New York Jets, 94, 95, and 96 with the Cincinnati Bengals, 97 and 98 with the Steelers, and 99 with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I played Falcons, Chiefs, Jets, Bengals, Bears, so 6 teams in 10 years. That's a lot of teams. I was considered what they refer to as a journeyman. I played with multiple teams over my career, and I'm okay with that. I'm proud of that because the average career is less than 3 years, and I was able to last 10. So I'm really proud of that. I did play with one coach. His name was Bruce Coslet with the Jets and the Bengals. So 5 of my 10 years I played with him. You go where you're wanted. And that's the way I looked at it, was he knows me, he knows what I can do, and you go where you're valued, and the more valuable you are, the more likely they are to keep you around, and he kept me around. And you know, we had a great relationship when it came from being a player and coach, and I spent half of my career with him.
Got to the NFL, who were you most starstruck by?
Starstruck by? I think that when I got drafted by the Falcons, there was an offensive guard. His name was Bill Fralick, and he played at the University of Pittsburgh. And he was just this massive man, and it's like everybody he blocked, he engulfed. But the player that played next to him was this gentleman, his name was Mike Ken, and he played at the University of Michigan. And Mike Ken was like everybody's dad in the locker room, because he was so much, he was in his 12th year when I was a rookie. And he ended up playing, he was one of those players that ended up playing like 18 years. I don't know how he did it, but being able to come right out of the chute and play with guys like that was pretty neat, because they showed you what it meant to be a professional.
Mr. Choi, thank you for letting me interview today. Followers, thank you for watching. See you next time. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.